Hello everyone, a very good morning. Dear authors and invited guests, welcome to Technical Session 8D. Myself Richa Shah and this session will be moderated by me. On behalf of the Global Knowledge Research Foundation and GR Scholastic LLP, it is my great pleasure to welcome you all to the ninth International Conference on Information and Communication Technology for Intelligent Systems, that is ICTIS 2025, held in Bangkok, Thailand. The ninth edition of this conference is being organized in a hybrid mode. The physical event was held yesterday in Bangkok, and the virtual event was held on the 5th and 6th of April via Zoom. I hope you will all enjoy the knowledgeable and interactive session through the day. In this session, we have 10 presentations, and each presenter will be given 10 minutes for the presentations and 2 minutes for the question and answers. On 9 minutes, I will raise a gentle reminder. There is another request to all the participants that you all stay connected with us till the closing remarks. If you have any query or update, you can write it to me in the chat box. So before we start the session, I'd like to introduce you all to our session chair. Uh, our session chair is an optimization researcher at Ho Chi Minh University of Technology in Vietnam, and he specializes in machine learning and deep learning. Our second session chair for today is Dr. Deepika Barari, ma'am. And ma'am is an assistant professor in IT department at Army Institute of Technology, Pune. Ma'am has 8 years of teaching experience and has published over 20 plus research papers in Scopus Index journals. Thank you to this session, sir and ma'am. So now we'd like to start with the research paper presentations. I'd like to call Mr. S. Anand for his paper titled AI-powered voice analysis for early diagnosis of severity assessment of Parkinson's disease. So please can you start with your presentation? Sir, can you start with your presentation?
Yes, ma'am, but I'm not able to start the presentation. Like, I'm not able to share my
Oh
screen.
yeah, you can try it now.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Anand. Today, I'll be presenting our project on Parkinson's disease detection and severity analysis using machine learning techniques. So, PD is a progressive neurodegenerative disorder affecting millions worldwide. It primarily impacts motor functions, causing symptoms like tremors, stiffness, and slowness of movement. As the second most common neurodegenerative disease globally, early detection and accurate severity assessment are crucial for effective management and improved patient outcomes. Our project focuses on detecting PD and predicting its severity using machine learning and deep learning techniques. We do this by analyzing voice features such as jitter, shimmer, and harmonicity, and we have employed various models like CNN, XGBoost, LightGBM, and Random Forest to classify PD and predict the UPDRS scores. So current PD diagnostic methods rely heavily on subjective clinical assessments and patient-reported symptoms, often leading to delayed diagnosis and inconsistent severity evaluations. By leveraging voice analysis and applying machine learning techniques, our framework aims to provide an objective, non-invasive, and scalable solution for early detection and a precise severity detection based on vocal signal characteristics. So our key contributions include the development of a comprehensive voice analysis framework that extracts and analyzes features that are linked to Parkinson's disease. We have also trained and evaluated multiple machine learning models for Parkinson's disease classification. the creation of models to predict the Unified Parkinson's Disease Rating Scale scores or the UPDRS scores. These aid in quantifying the disease progression. We have also created a user-friendly tool enabling the clinicians to input voice samples and obtain diagnostic predictions. We have performed an extensive review of the recent researches in this field. Some of the key findings are the study from 2024, which developed a deep learning system achieving a 92.5% accuracy, but they had limitations in generalizing across populations and handling noise. A 2022 study which featured facial features from smartphone recordings from 371 participants. They achieved an impressive OROC scores. Research on the XGBoost from 2023 achieved approximately 93.3 accuracy using vocal and demographic data, and but it lacked external validation. A 2024 study on explainable AI for PD via voice analysis developed a hybrid model achieving 91 accuracy with a strong precision and recall metrics. Finally, a 2024 study using the CNN LSTM networks with spectrograms achieved 95.67% accuracy, demonstrating the potential of deep learning approaches in the prediction of Parkinson's disease. So we have identified several limitations in the existing systems. Some of them are limited dataset diversity and demographic representation, oversimplified feature selection, missing critical voice characteristics, inadequate validation techniques, and limited generalizability, along with poor scalability for real-world development. So addressing these gaps is significant for improving diagnostic accuracy, expanding applicability across diverse demographics, enhancing trust through robust validation, and establishing foundations for future multimodal AI solutions. So this is the high-level design of our proposed system. This integrates data acquisition, feature extraction, model training, and clinical deployment. Starting with raw voice recordings, we extract specialized acoustic features using libraries like Librosa and Parselmouth. These features, including jitter, shimmer, harmonicity, and pitch variations, serve as crucial biomarkers for PD manifestation in speech. The pre-processing stage standardizes these features using robust scaling techniques to handle outliers, essential for maintaining model sensitivity. We then direct this processed data through parallel pathways. For classification, our CNN model distinguishes between PD and non-PD samples with exceptional accuracy, while for regression, our ensemble models, particularly random forest and light GBM, predict precise UPDRS scores quantifying disease severity. The validation framework ensures reliability through cross-validation and statistical testing before deployment as a clinician-facing web application that processes uploaded voice samples and delivers real-time diagnostic predictions. For data, we use two key datasets, the telemonitoring dataset with 42 patients and approximately 200 recordings each, containing 16 voice measures plus UPDRS scores. The second one is a multiple sound recording dataset with 40 patients, evenly split between PD and non-PD with 26 audio features. For voice feature extraction, we use libraries like Librosa and Parselmouth to extract the jitter measurements, which are used for the frequency variations, shimmer measurements for amplitude variations, harmony ratios, and pitch-based features, along with voice break patterns. For model development, we implemented CNN for capturing the sequential voice patterns, XGBoost and Light GBM for efficient gradient boosting, and random forest as a robust ensemble method. We split our data at 80-20 for training and testing, applied appropriate scaling, and evaluated classification models using accuracy, precision, recall, and F1 score, while the regression models were evaluated with mean absolute error and R2 scores. Our validation strategy included k-fold cross-validation and external test sets to ensure generalizability. We also conducted tests to identify statistically significant differences between PD and control groups. For clinical use, we developed a web application using Flask where clinicians can upload voice samples and receive real-time classification results and UPDRS predictions. Our results were highly promising. For motor UPDRS prediction, random forest performed best with a mean absolute error of 1.82 and an R2 score of 0.90. Light GBM and XGBoost showed similar performance with R2 score of 0.89. For total UPDRS prediction, We achieved an excellent mean absolute error of 1.52 and an R2 score of 0.96. Most notably, our CNN model for Parkinson's disease detection achieved outstanding metrics of 99% accuracy, 97% prediction, and 99% recall and F1 score. These results validate our approach and demonstrate the potential of voice analysis as a biomarker for PD. So this is a sample UI of our web application that we have used. We have first uploaded a voice sample with Parkinson's disease, and then a voice sample with a health. It is a controlled voice sample, which is a healthy voice sample, and these are the results that are being produced uh, using our web application, which has a simple UI for ease of understanding. So our research demonstrates that machine learning techniques enable accurate PD detection and UPDRS score prediction using voice analysis. The low mean absolute error and high R-square values highlight the potential of vocal features as biomarkers for disease progression. The CNN model's high performance suggests the possibility of a non-invasive early PD diagnosis, which is crucial for timely intervention and improved patient outcomes. Our web application makes these sophisticated models accessible to clinicians without requiring deep technical knowledge. While we recognize limitations in data availability and computational resources, our study proves the effectiveness of machine learning for PD diagnostics with significant potential for further improvements and broader clinical application. Thank you for your attention, and I'm happy to take any questions regarding this.
Any questions from the session, sir?
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
My question is, am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am,
Yes.
you're
You are
audible.
using MSR dataset, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so just one question. Can you just elaborate on the specific challenges you encountered while working this dataset, particularly in terms of, you can say, data quality or variability between the individuals? So, do you face any such challenges?
Sure, ma'am. The dataset we have used, this is from the using MSR Parkinson's telemonitoring dataset. And as far as we were working on that, we had encountered some data quality challenges like uh, they had many acoustic features like jitter, shimmer, and pitch measures, and many of them were highly correlated. So this could lead to multicollinearity, sometimes overfitting, and sometimes in the redundancy of the model. So we had to perform correlation analysis to remove the features that didn't add any much value. Uh, and there were multiple entries per patient over time. So the many data points were not completely independent. And we had to take care which to avoid the data leakage by ensuring patient level separation during training and testing. And also some acoustic measurements, they showed outlier behavior, like they had some recording inconsistencies. So we had to apply some normalization like the min-max scaling methods and verified distributions to reduce this effect. And we only had the pre-extracted features, not the raw audio. So we couldn't apply data augmentation or the extract features differently. So we were limited to the feature engineering done in the original dataset. So these were some of the challenges that we had encountered while using this dataset.
Okay, and what is your future direction for the same?
And we are currently planning on like using raw audio data, like instead of solely relying on pre-extracted features, we currently aim to work directly with raw audio recordings. So this can help us in using spectrograms, MFCCs, and applying data augmentation for the improved generalization of techniques.
Okay, so the
And we are
spectrograms are available in dataset or you have to create it from your
now existing data sets contain pre-recorded the pre-extracted features from the audio recordings.
okay.
So we are planning to do with while extracting these features from other raw audio recordings.
Okay, so you, for spectrogram conversion, you have to convert that audio to spectrum.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation, sir. Moving on next, I'd like to call Miss Aya Nabil Sayed for the paper titled Assessing the Robustness of Federated Learning Aggregation Techniques Against Diverse Poisoning Attack Strengths. Ma'am, can you please start with your presentation?
Yes, I'll share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay, good morning. This is Aya Said, and I'll be presenting the paper entitled Assessing the Robustness of Federated Learning Aggregation Techniques Against Diverse Poisoning Attack Strengths on behalf of the other co-authors. So we'll have an overview of the sections that will be covered throughout the presentation, which are an introduction section, which will cover talking about federated learning in general and the different poisoning attacks, and also the different federated learning aggregation approaches. And then we'll cover the study methodology, mentioning the federated learning setup, the employed data set, and how the attacks were implemented, and also how we evaluated the effectiveness of the attacks. And then we'll discuss the results and compare them with the different aggregation techniques, methods for different data poisoning and model poisoning attacks strength. And we'll conclude the presentation with some concluding remarks and mention the potential future work. So to start off, federated learning is an innovative machine learning approach that allows us to have multiple clients, such as smartphones or IoT devices, to develop a models that collaborate with assistance of a central server. So rather than transmitting their sensitive data, the clients, their sensitive local data could remain locally, and the central server will just get the weights of the models and then try to aggregate those models and send back the aggregated models to different clients. And the FL process is illustrated in this figure, where we have the different clients, or also they can refer to as nodes. And we have one central server which aggregates the weights that are shared by the local models or the local nodes, and then send back the aggregated version of the models, and then the training process will iterate over specific rounds of training until there is a convergence of the training. So poisoning attacks in FL exploit the decentralized nature of the system to compromise the integrity of the global model. These attacks are broadly categorized into data poisoning and model poisoning. So in data poisoning, it involves the malicious modification of training data on client devices, and the attackers inject faulty data or mislabeled data into the local model data sets in order to change the model behavior. And this could aggregate the model performance on specific tasks or steer the model behavior toward undesired behavior. And in terms of model poisoning, this type of attacks target the model updates sent to the server. Instead of altering the data, the attackers can tamper with the gradients or weights during the local model training. And this also will cause the model to behave differently and will decrease the model performance. We have here in this figure the two types of data poisoning attacks that could occur in FL, which are the model poisoning and data poisoning, and how they happen in the FL process. So we have, in terms of different FL aggregation techniques, we have two types, which are the standard aggregation techniques and the robust aggregation techniques. In terms of the standard aggregation techniques, two methods fall under this category, which are the federated average FL, which is like the main algorithm that is found for aggregating the different weights that are received from the nodes. And the other approach is called FedProx, which is federated proxel. It's also builds upon the federated average. And the term restricts the local updates from deviating too far from the global model, preventing drastic updates from individual clients. And in terms of the robust aggregation techniques, there are many, but the ones that are explored during this study are the trend mean and the median based aggregation technique and the crumb. In terms of the trend mean, it removes a fixed fraction of the highest and lowest parameter updates before computing the mean and doing the aggregation. And in terms of the median, it computes the element-wise median across all the client's updates instead of the mean. And then it calculates the aggregated weights. And in terms of the crumb, it selects a single client update closest to the most benign clients. It does this by computing the Euclidean distance between updates and choosing the one with the smallest cumulative distance. So in terms of the study contribution, we made several contributions. First, we provide a comprehensive taxonomy of poisoning attacks in FL, distinguishing between data poisoning and model poisoning techniques. Second, we implement and evaluate various poisoning attack strategies, assessing their effectiveness and aggregating the model performance and bypassing traditional aggregation mechanism. Third, we analyze the resilience of different FL aggregation techniques, comparing them against the traditional approaches, which are the Fed average and the FedProx. And we also do this by using several metrics, which are the accuracy and F1 score. Finally, we offer insights into trade-off between security, efficiency, and scalability in FL, providing recommendations for designing more resilient FL systems. So for our setup, we have 10 clients, and we train a global model, and we have several federated aggregation rounds without the clients sharing their sensitive data. And the FL framework is implemented using TensorFlow and the Flower framework, which is an open source library that facilitates scalable FL experiments. And as for the central server, it coordinates the training rounds, collects model updates, and applies aggregation strategy. And of course, like I mentioned before, each client performs its own local training on its own data set, and then transmits the updates to the server after each federated round. In this study, we utilized one primary data set to encompass various scenarios and challenges, which is the data set we used. It's called DRED, which is like a short of Dutch residential energy dataset. Dataset is publicly available, contains real-world examples of residential energy consumption patterns. It was collected from a single household in the Netherlands, and includes various electrical appliance usage data, sensor readings, and occupancy information. Data contains time series data that captures household energy consumption at various levels of granularity, and it includes 166,000 examples, as seen in the table, which contains like the distribution of the examples across the different labels. And we have in our experiments, we have 5 labels for the different micro moments. So in terms of the attack implementation, for the data poisoning attacks, we utilize the outlier injection attacks, where the attackers introduce anomaly or unrealistic data samples into their local training sets. As for the model poisoning attacks, we employed the random noise injection attack, where the adversarial clients generate and submit completely randomized model updates instead of the meaningful gradient updates that are generated from the regular training grounds. And in our experiments, we're going to compare the traditional approaches, which are the Fed average and Fed prox, and the robust aggregation approaches, which are the trimmed mean and the median-based approach and the crumb. So in order to evaluate the different approaches, we're going to use mainly the accuracy and F1 score, which you can find their equation in this slide. And for the F1 score, it's based on the precision and the recall, which uses the true positive, true negative, false positive, and false negative metrics or scores. In terms of the results, we have firstly the model poisoning attacks. You can see the different approaches available, the Fed average, Fed prox, Fed trim, Fed median, and the crumb. And we have also the different fractions of malicious nodes. We have from 10% to 50%. You can here observe that even up to 50%, the crumb approach actually maintains a good performance. And also we have the Fed median. It also maintains a good performance up to 40%, and then it goes down with 50% fraction of malicious nodes. And in terms of the Fed average and Fed prox, which are the standard aggregation approaches, they actually perform badly, even up to like 10%. They go under 60% in terms of the accuracy and the F1 score. And in terms of the data poisoning attacks, you can see the results here in this slide. So also the crumb maintains a good performance up to 50%. The Fed median maintains a good accuracy and F1 score until 40%, and then with the 50% it goes down a bit or a lot. And actually here the Fed trimmed maintained good accuracy until 40%, and even at 50% compared to the model poisoning attack, which it performed badly in that type of attack. So to conclude, this paper analyzed data and model poisoning attacks that could occur during the FL process. These attacks typically degrade the performance of the global model as the proportion of malicious nodes increased in relation to benign nodes. And to address these threats, we employed robust FL aggregation techniques. We examined the resilience of standard aggregation methods such as Fed average, Fed prox against poisoning attacks, and we compared their effectiveness with more robust approaches, including crumb, trimmed mean, and median-based aggregation techniques. These results for model poisoning and data poisoning attacks highlighted the effectiveness of the crumb aggregation technique, which maintained good performance even up to 50% of malicious nodes. As for the Fed median technique, it performed well with as much as 40% of malicious nodes. At the same time, the performance of Fed trim, Fed prox, and Fed average began to decline sharply, with the fraction of malicious nodes exceeding 10% in the model poisoning attacks. In future work, we plan to expand our research in investigating a broader range of attacks vectors that could potentially threaten the security and integrity of FL. In this study, we just focused on model poisoning and data poisoning attacks. In the future, we will try to include different threats that could affect the FL system. And understanding these additional types of attacks will enable us to better assess the vulnerabilities and develop more robust defenses in federated learning systems. And that's it for me. If you have any questions, please go ahead. Hello?
Any questions from session, sir?
Yes, just one question from my side.
Yes,
If we
please.
consider the scalability of this FL system, so what you like to say, what will be the biggest challenges in implementing such a robust aggregation method that you faced?
Um, you mean in real systems, in
Yeah,
real life?
yes. In real world distributed networks.
And in terms of that, the issue will be with the central server, because we only have one central server, so the attackers could attack those servers and manipulate the global models, and this could affect the performance of the clients. So in the future, actually, we're going to consider how we can protect the FL process from this. A lot of approaches could solve this issue. One of them is using blockchains, and in that scheme, the central client will be exchanged between the clients, and this could solve the issue. But then it will introduce other issues that are associated with the blockchain scheme. So we have a lot of considerations that we could, or a lot of approaches that could solve the issue, but then it will introduce other issues that associated with the new model. So this would be our consideration in the future.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation, ma'am.
Thank you.
Moving on next, I'd like to call Mr. Andy Sir for the paper titled Attack Session Based Analysis to Reveal HTTP Attacker Behavior. So, can you please start with your presentation?
Okay, ma'am. Is it clear, my presentation? Uh, Greetings, everyone. Thank you for attending this conference. My name is Andi Parada Tambunan, and I'm from Swiss German University, Indonesia. Today, I'm honored to present the results of my research. The title is Attack Session-Based Analysis to Reveal HTTP Attacker Behavior. And the research was carried out under the guidance of Charles Lim and Karupin Erlangga Cilain, and is part of a research initiative support by the ICIF Asia. This study is motivated by the limitation of current method for analyzing HTTP attack, which often evaluate its attack even individually. Such a process tend to overlook the relationship between events that occur within a single attack session. To address this issue, we propose attack session-based analysis and approach that analyze attacker activity based on the sequence of events within a session. The goal is to identify attack activity more accurately and improve the classification of attacker tactics. We look at several previous studies attempt to identify attack session using time-based method such as 30 minutes timeout threshold. However, this approach proves ineffective in dynamic environment like automated attack occur within seconds, while APT may spend much longer period. So variable-based approach using parameter like IP address, user agent, and event patterns provide better session segmentation or session identification. However, most studies still treat each event as an isolated occurrence. This leads to misclassification of attack tactics and difficulty in understanding the attack progression. Therefore, we combine idle time based and variable based session identification to improve the mapping accuracy to the meta attack framework. Our research framework consists of 4 main stages. First, we collect data from HTTP honeypot. Then the data that extract and organized based on key parameters for detecting attack session, such as IP address, user agent, and idle time attack. Afterward, we apply two types of analysis. The first is the traditional single event based method as used in previous studies. And the second, this is our approach, is propose attack session based method, which group attacker activities into session before mapping them to attack. So we can see the previous study approach is mapping the attacker activity even individually. So every row attack activity have many tactics, but our approach is group before mapping we grouping the activity into one single attack session. Therefore we we map to meta attack framework. So our honeypot start collecting data from September 19, 2024 and record over 147,000 HTTP attack to date. The data includes HTTP method, header, payload, and metadata such as an attacker IP address and user agent. And these stats, we also implement algorithm to identify attack session based on 30-minute idle time and matching IP and user agent value. So we test 8 session scenario, including cases where IP and user agent are the same, but idle time have a various idle time. Sessions are considered active if the idle time is under 30 minutes. Otherwise, they are treated as a new session. So this is our experiment and result. The first example show how the single event based approach maps access attempt to env file or php myadmin endpoints under different tactics such as initial access or credential access. In contrast, session-based analysis recognize this action as part of broader recognition space or recognition tactics within a single attack session, reflecting the attacker intent to explore the system. And this is the second example, involves SQL injection attempt on a login form. We analyze when we analyze individually, the payload are mapped to multiple tactics such as credential access, execution, and discovery. However, when we analyze based on a taxation analysis, all these actions are interpreted as a single collection phase or collection tactics because they occur within a session that follow a connected pattern. This method successfully consolidates fragmented event into coherent attack patterns. For the example, repeated access to PHP myadmin endpoints previously seen as a random attempt, but we can see now and understood as part of deliberate recognition tactics. Through this session-based lens, we gain better insight into how attacker transition between tactics and execute multiple strategies within a single attack session. In conclusion, attack session-based analysis offer a novel and contextual way to understand attacker behavior, particularly in HTTP honeypot environment. This approach has the potential to reduce false positive and improve the accuracy of mapping activity to the attack framework, MITRE ATT&CK framework. For future development, we plan to integrate sequence modeling using LSTM and transformer architecture and explore graph clustering for deeper attacker profiling. We also aim to implement this framework in real-world system for automated threat intelligence and proactive defense. For the acknowledge, this research was supported by ICTIS Asia, so the 2023 infrastructure research grant. We are grateful for their support. That's my presentation. Thank you very much for your time and attention. I welcome any question or discussion. Thank you.
Any questions from session sir?
No question from my side.
Okay. Moving on next. Thank you for the presentation, sir. Moving on next, I'd like to call Ms. Kenista Naimi for the paper titled Beyond Domain Dependency, Evaluating Machine Learning Models for Cross-Domain Sentiment Classification. Ma'am, can you please start with your presentation? Are you speaking? Because you're not audible.
Okay. Is it okay now? Right.
Yes, ma'am, you can start.
Okay. Okay. I will repeat again. My name is Kanitana from King Mongkut University of Technology, North Bangkok, Thailand. So today I will give a presentation about beyond domain dependency evaluating machine learning model for cross-domain sentiment classification. So this is all of my colleague. So the presentation agenda that I will give today, I will talk about the introduction, the data set, the methodology, experimental result, and conclusion. So for the NLP or sentiment classification. So in NLP, this is a categorized the texture data into the predefined sentiment label, such as like positive, neutral, and negative. So for the supervised learning model have demonstrated strong performance that evaluate effectiveness is often concerned by the domain dependency, meaning domain model trained on one model, such as like electronic, stuttering to generalize to other domains such as book or beautiful product. So this problem is the result of cost domain, which is the variation in logistic pattern, the vocabulary, the content meaning between the domain. This is the lead to the performance. So to resolve this issue, this is necessary to evaluate the generalization of the sentiment classification across multi-domain using variant machine learning model. For across the domain, I transfer the learning method that adapt the model learned on a source domain to similar target domain has been adapted in several ways. To bridge the distribution gap, cost domain in sentiment classification, cost domain use label data from the source domain and unlabeled or spread element data from the target domain. So in low result target domain, the feature transformation, the model adaptation, the model augmentation have improve the sentiment classification accuracy. So this to useful for the customer feedback analysis and social media monitoring. So for the sentiment classification, Advanced has used this learning algorithm as well. The bidirectional transfer learning have deep neural network and the sentiment lexicon adaptation. For the multi-source domain adaptation, which combine knowledge from many domains, have improved the model robustness. So this study evaluated the effectiveness of traditional machine learning model, HVMF, and also with the deep learning architecture as well, with a CNN or STM for cross-domain sentiment classification by we have using the TF-IDF representation model used trained on product review model from the electronic domain and test on the book, the beauty, personal care, and also with the automotive as well. For the data sets that we use, right? So the first data sets, actually we have 4 data sets. The first one we use a multi-cast sentiment classification model, the product review result from Amazon, and the focusing on the electronic and technology product. So those is English language and 5-star rating system. So we map into 3 sentiment class, which is like, okay, positive, if they got a 5-star, the neutral is 3-star, and the negative, if the result is 1 and 2-star. So this classification scheme reflect the user satisfaction level. And also to ensure that the data quality and reliability, we produce refinement process includes the expert linguistic, the valuation to to correct the grammatical and also the lexicon error, and also removal the prone the data the review as well. So only review with the minimum 50 words were included in produce the content for analysis. We clean the data and save in the CSV format. And this is we use like 2000 of the review of the data in each class. And for the second and the third and the fourth, we use the same thing with the books, the beautiful, the personal care, and automotive. Each contain 1800 review with equal distributed across the sentiment category, 600 positive. The data for 600 neutral and 600 negative as well. So like the first data, all review were subject to and this is the tools that we use. We utilize Python along with the library of the Python and the model development and evaluation. We use NumPy for handle the big array and the matrix making. Making is suitable for the text embedding machine learning model mathematics. And we use NLTK perform the tokenization, the stop word, the steaming to prepare the texture input for sentiment categorized. Right. And for the development of the multicast sentiment classification model, the evaluative, the multicast sentiment classification model start with the data pre-processing to refine the texture input, and then the text representation and the word weighting to turn raw data into the meaningful numerical feature. Machine learning model for sentiment are trained on those process features. The HVM with linear and RBF kernel and random forest test for domain adaptation as well. And also for the data preprocessing, the vectorization and term weighting. So we use in the lowercase thing and also in the text is transformed to the lowercase to provide the uniformity and also avoid the synchronized the words for the being seen, sublet due to the variation of the capitalization. And also the stop word removable is implemented to discard. For example, like and or for example. For the tokenizing text, we break into the small pieces such as like a sentiment analysis model. So we is breaking down into the sentiment, the analysis, and the model. Right. For multicast sentiment, the model that we use, so we use HVM with linear, RBF kernel, FCNN, and LSTM. Right. So the method that we use, so we measure in
Excuse
accuracy.
me, ma'am. Sorry to interrupt, but 8 minutes are over. 9 minutes are over. Can you please wrap?
Right. Okay. So I will show about the result. So this is the result that we got in this table. So as you can see, it's like the deep learning model is have a like the high performance mod, also outstand perform more than the traditional machine learning. So CNN the capture the local the n-gram pattern to the conventional filter, and by the random forest with accuracy score is from 0.71 to 0.76, and the short range sentiment term. And for the LSTM that achieved the high accuracy at 0.32 until 76, right? So for the conclusion, so in this study, we provide a comprehensive evaluation of the traditional with the deep learning model for the cross-domain sentiment classification using the TF-IDF representation by analyzing product review from books, beautiful product, and the personal care and automotive. The study highlight that the performance along with the model is impact on the model architecture on cost model generalization. And for the traditional approach, the random forest outperform both HVM, right? And for the HVM with linear kernel show the demonstrate the performance. For the deep learning model is get superior the performance, CNN effective, have the local emotion, right? Filter with the extract engram pattern. So, however, our STM surpass all model. So ability to model sequence dependency and contextual the sentiment propagation. So make it particular well suited for cross-domain sentiment classification. So in this advancement, the cross-domain challenge persists, especially within the beautiful and personal care category. So suggesting that the domain-specific linguistic varieties still handled generally. For the deep learning model for offer the performance improved by the TF-IDF. So the future research, we will explore the alternative feature representation such as the P10 embedding and transform-based model to enhance the domain adaptation and also the classification accuracy. Thank you very much for your attention. Hello?
Am I audible?
Any questions from the session, sir?
Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So just one question regarding you're using TF-IDF, right, in your model.
Yes.
So can you explain why you chose this TF-IDF over other feature extraction methods and how it might have influenced on the result?
Actually, we try to perform both, but from the result, it showed the FRTF gets higher result. That's why I picked this one to writing the data.
Ma'am, are you speaking? Hello.
We can go ahead with next presentation.
Okay. Yeah. Moving on next, I'd like to call Mr. John Repello for the paper titled Cubata, a 360 interactive video about lives of critically endangered species in the Philippines. So please, can you start with your presentation?
Thank you. Let me just share my screen.
Yes, sir.
Good day, everyone. This is John Angelo Repollo from NTU Institute of Technology. And today I'm going to present to you Gubata, a 360 degrees interactive video about the lives of critically endangered animals in the Philippines. For the introduction, so maintaining species diversity is essential for a healthy ecosystem, as each species plays a unique role. The Philippines is one of the world's most biologically diverse countries, faces significant biodiversity threats due to the following reasons, such as deforestation and habitat destruction. With over 700 threatened species, the country is critically global conservation area. In addition to this, according to International Union of Conservation of Nature, categorized species extinction risk emphasizes the urgent need for conservation efforts, specifically for critically endangered species. Laws and international collaborations aim to protect these species, supported by initiatives like the Wildlife Resource Conservation and Protection Act and Sustainable Development Goals, despite the effort by the Biodiversity Management Bureau to protect endangered species, widespread public involvement is still needed. Now, for the objectives of this project, the project will narrate current situations of the critically endangered species in their natural habitat. The project objective is to inform children in the Philippines who will be the ones responsible for maintaining the conservation of endangered species in the future. So specifically, this project aims to fulfill the following objective. First is to provide a design and develop a 360 degrees interactive video in 3D, consisting of several episodes, each running for 4 to 5 minutes, which explores the current situation of critically endangered species in their natural habitat and the reasons why they have led them to be labeled as critically endangered. So also to provide innovative educational material to 8 to 10 years old that effectively communicates the importance of wildlife conservation. Also to discuss the challenges faced by the critically endangered species. Third objective is to test the output using a mixed method approach, including focused discussion groups to gather feedback from the target audience, aiming to understand how engaging and educational the content is for the children's. And last is to evaluate the multimedia content by answering the following research questions. For example, how does a 360 degrees interactive video enhance the understanding of critically endangered species among the children ages 8 to 10 in Manila? And also, what impact does it have on their attitude towards conservation? Okay, so for the significance of this study, so the purpose of this project is to create a 360 degrees interactive video that will help inform the children of Manila regarding the lives of critically endangered species and the reason why they are at risk of extinction. So actually, the researchers selected children that live in Manila because according to their preliminary data, majority of the children in Manila are not familiar with those said endangered species. This research offers valuable insights into the effectiveness of 360 degrees interactive video, promoting the advocacy supporting the SDGs, including quality education, life on land, and life on water for the children of Manila City. Now, for the production workflow, so the researchers use the traditional production workflow, which is the pre-production, production, and post-production. So for the pre-production, this is where the researchers tend to brainstorm and conduct a research, also interview experts. Also under the pre-production stage, this is where the researchers created their screenplay for their interactive video storyboards. Then after doing those pre-production, the researchers will proceed with their production stage. This is where the development of 360 degrees interactive video starts. So the researchers use several software applications during the production stage. So for example, the researchers use the Autonomous Maya for their development of 3D characters or the 3D illustration of the endangered species. Also, they use Adobe Photoshop for their digital illustration and Procreate. Now, after doing the production stage, the researchers will proceed with their post-production. So under their post-production, this is where the researchers will compose their interactive videos using Adobe Premiere Pro for editing the video and Adobe After Effects for the composting. And also, the researchers use the Adobe Audition for their sound editing. Okay, so now let's proceed with their data gathering. So the researchers conducted a formative and summative assessment. So for the formative assessment, so the researchers conducted an internal evaluation that utilized a checklist for its testing instrument. So interval evaluation were conducted and researchers interviewed several multimedia experts in order to validate their project's technical accuracy. Also, for the summative assessment, participants that did not possess technical expertise, which specifically their target audiences, with the focus of the target audience, specifically children between ages 8 and 10. And also, under the summative assessment, the researchers evaluated using pre and post assessment. So as a result, so for the formative evaluation, so the formative assessment include an internal evaluation using a checklist among the team and also the project mentor. Then according to the feedback that they have gathered, the feedback highlighted areas for improvements, specifically in accreditation compliance and the usability of 360 degrees interactive video. So other recommendations including adding zoom and rotation features to enhance the user experience for their target audiences. Now, after the researchers gathered the recommendations from the other experts, so the researchers applied this recommendation and then proceed with their summative evaluation. So for their summative evaluation, based on the result, participants in pre-assessments largely agree with a mean of 3.17 that videos effectively convey cultural relevance and improvement knowledge about critically endangered species. And based on their post-assessment, the result with a mean score of 4.24 confirm the persuasive impact of 360 degrees interactive video, and also it emphasized the importance of understanding biodiversity conservation. In conclusion, so the researchers concluded that the project tested in a focus group received a positive feedback for its cultural relevance and effectiveness in improving knowledge with the use of 360 degrees interactive video. So about endangered species, the initiative emphasized environmental consciousness among audiences. So, in short, the researchers concluded that immersive experience um, help the children to better understand about the current situation of the endangered species here in the Philippines. Okay, so that ends my presentation, and the floor is now open for the Q&A. And thank you for your time listening to my presentation. Have a nice day.
Yes, one question is there. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you mentioned that you're using mixed method techniques to collect the data, right?
Yeah.
So can you first explain that how you combine the qualitative and quantitative approaches here?
So actually, by the way, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
So for the quantitative, we selected specifically students ages 8 to 10 for our respondents for the quantitative. And then for the qualitative approach, we interviewed and experts, specifically multimedia experts, and um, use thematic analysis based on the data that we have collected when we use the qualitative for our research.
Okay. Thank you from my side.
Thank you for the presentation, sir. Moving on next, I'd like to call Ms. Manjula ma'am for the paper titled Identification of Cardiac Risk from Retinal Fundus Image Using Hybrid CNN Transformer Ensemble Models. Ma'am, can you please start with your presentation?
Thank you, ma'am. I'll share my screen. Very good morning, everyone. Yeah,
Good morning, ma'am.
I'm presenting. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes,
Good morning.
yes.
Am I audible? Yeah. So I am presenting my paper titled Identification of Cardiac Risk from Retinal Fundus Images, Hybrid CNN Transformer Ensemble Model. I am from VNR Vijnan Jyoti Institute of Engineering and Technology, Hyderabad, India. Moving on to my presentation. 1 minute, I'm not able to. 1 minute, ma'am, like slide is not, I'm not proceeding. Right. Right. This is the agenda, like I'm presenting the introduction, motivation and objectives of the present work, summary of the literature survey, the methodologies, implementation and results, conclusion. So cardiovascular diseases. Cardiovascular diseases are a major world health concern where we need scalable techniques for risk assessment and early detection are required. So, with the recent trends of artificial intelligence and with the advantage of medical imaging, we have made it possible for non-invasive signal and image-based methods to diagnose a person's cardiac conditions, and we can achieve better results. A non-invasive and easily accessible method of early diagnosis and risk assessment can be obtained by utilizing the connections between cardiovascular health and the retinal image, because the retinal vessels are concerned with every health concern. So the advancement of deep learning methodologies has revolutionized medical image analysis. In recent years, the integration of the convolutional neural networks and the healthcare imaging methodologies of the healthcare has shown promising results. So in this, yeah, the motivation is like the existing methods of healthcare in rural and semi-urban. 1 minute. Yes. So the motivation is existing healthcare facilities in rural and semi-urban regions in India are not sufficient, and the available cardiovascularists are also not sufficient in number. So the traditional medical equipment like ECGs, 2D echo and angio are not accessible instantaneously in rural and semi-urban regions, making the patients to travel to nearby metropolitan cities. So to avoid people travel for a preliminary screening, we need a low-cost portable screening devices which can tell whether one needs to approach a cardiologist or not. So the machine learning and deep learning models embedded on a simple, a small and concise processing units with the retinal acquisition system will serve the purpose of predicting cardiac risk. So the present work is a simulation part of proposed retinal screening device for cardiac disorders. The main objective of this research work is to develop a deep learning model capable of accurately classifying retinal images into risk and no risk categories. It's a binary classification corresponding to different cardiovascular conditions in the eye. So it doesn't represent only the cardiovascular issues. It will also represent many other diseases also. So I just would like to present the summary of the literature survey. The traditional image processing has been used by the researchers. They proposed a method for color image segmentation to different retinal veins and arteries, aiding in the detection of the hypertensive retinopathy. Hypertensive retinopathy is one of the cardiac risk which will be causing for the cardiac disorder. The approach uses RGB channels, masking, histogram equalization, and morphological operations, highlighting how machine learning, these are implemented, but still machine learning outperforms the traditional image processing in this field. So few researchers have been worked with the machine learning for the image analysis and classifications. So they explored the use of machine learning algorithms in Python and MATLAB for personalized cardiac risk predictions, finding MLP to outperform compared to the KNN, decision trees, and Navi bias techniques used. So another study developed a system, automated diabetic retinopathy screening, achieving more than 96% accuracy using supervised classifiers, but only for the diabetic retinopathy. So with the deep learning techniques, it has been outperforming the traditional ML methods. So researchers are now extensively leveraging the DL for image analysis, disease classification, and prediction. So as there is an advantage that they need not go for the feature extraction, which is mandatory for the machine learning. So the researchers across various studies have proposed evaluated a wide range of machine learning and deep learning models for the diagnosis and prediction of cardiovascular and retinal diseases. So these include EDC, edge detecting CNN for heart disease risk estimation via IOMT, 3D CNNs, and advanced CNN and transformer hybrids like HDNet and MTPA UNet for precise retinal vessel segmentation. So several methods achieved high accuracy in diabetic retinopathy and cardiovascular disease detection using large datasets with a focus on deep learning superiority over traditional methods. Some studies also emphasize integrating clinical data and retinal images for improved CVD prediction and suggested future directions to overcome current limitations. The methodology we implemented is with the data set we have considered two different data sets, and we have implemented CNN architecture, and we have tested and trained with the considered data set. We also implemented vision encoders, transformers, so which will be in the, of course it is meant for the NLP, but the embedding method, which words will be embedded with the sentences, that kind of method has been used with the VIT transformers, VITs, and these two are ensembled and the predictions have been made, and it has been observed that they have made a better predictions. So coming to the data set details, so we have taken the retinal images from two different data sets. Actually, these data sets are multi disease retinal images, but most of them are not directly for the cardiac risk images. So we have been created with the help of the ophthalmologist. So a ground truth images, which with the symptoms like tortuous vessels, CRVO, like central retina occlusion of veins, and branch retinal vein occlusion. These two features have been identified as the symptoms for the cardiac disorder. Not only these three, there are also like arteriovenous nicking is also comes into picture when there is a heart disorder, and also AVR ratio, the artery vein ratio or a particular region is also considered to be a disorder for the cardiac issues. So we have considered two different data sets, and we have created a subsets for the cardiac disorders, and a total of 1980 images.
Excuse me, ma'am. Sorry to interrupt, but 9 minutes are over. Can you please wrap up?
Sure. So we have taken a total of 1980 images with a ratio of 80 and 20%. We have trained and validated, and separately an unseen 20 images have been used for testing. So this is the CNN architecture used, which is utilized for analyzing the images, and which automatically extracts the features through the convolution networks. And it is using a sigmoid at the outer dense layer, which will be providing us a binary result as a risk or no risk. And the vision transformers will be, so as the diagram shows, the retinal image is divided into patches, and these patches are embedded along with their positions, and then given for the classification, and then activation layer will be providing the result as risk or no risk. So with the individuals, they have shown about 95% and 83% of accuracy, whereas when we have ensembled, because there is an advantage that CNN can be providing good results even with the lower data set, whereas VIT has a better feature extraction technique. So these two combined, we have used a hybrid TNN, like we have used the pre-trained CNN and VIT, and then ensembled, and observed that the result be better compared to the individual CNN and VIT models. So we have achieved an accuracy of 93.33 with CNN and 85.7 with percentage with VIT, and the ensemble model has achieved 97% accuracy. So initially we have started with an unbalanced data set. We have also calculated the FN score from precision and recall. So still here we have achieved almost a better ensemble FN score as well as accuracy. So the conclusion is the hybrid model of CNN and VIT is ensembled to gain efficient interpretability of features of CNN with smaller data set, and the ability of VIT to model long range discrepancies efficiently. The model's original architecture was focused on binary classification, aiming to distinguish between normal and risk categories. However, during the testing phase, the model showed promising potential in recognizing specific diseases. The overall accuracy of the hybrid model resulted in 97% compared to the CNN of 93% and VIT of 85%. So these are all the references I have considered, and that's my presentation. Queries, please.
Yes, ma'am, very nice presentation. Just have one question, like have you seen any potential for expanding this methodology to detect other health condition using this retinal images?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, why we have chosen this is I started the research on retinal images for the retinal diseases for the rural, like with a concise device where they can be scanned, the retina can be scanned. So this can be extended. We have been started maybe 2 years ago, starting this work as a research work, and we have the difficulty with the data sets itself. Like so far, we could not find the real retinal images with the cardiac problem. So that recordings are not available. So we had to taken the advices from the ophthalmologist and the ground truth that these images would be from a cardiac patient. And then we have been embedded, and it can be extended to real time. Like we can embed these simulations onto the Jetson board, like a small processing board, like which can evaluate the ML and DL algorithms. So we have also dumped on the simulations on the Jetson board and implemented for the earlier versions. Like we have implemented with the ML and DL also, but the accuracy is not much higher. Now that's why we are in search of like improving the accuracy. And then the next step is to embed onto the hardware and make a full-fledged device for cardiac disorder prediction from retinal images. Hope I answered your question.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks you, ma'am. Thank you for all the organizers for patient listening and allowing me to present the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving on next, I'd like to call Ms. Sarita Rathod for the paper titled Review on Autism Spectrum Disorder Assessment in Pediatric Neurodevelopment to Identify the Biomarkers. Ma'am, can you please start with the presentation?
Yes, ma'am. Give me a minute. Yes, ma'am.
Thanks,
Is the screen is visible, ma'am?
Yes.
Hello? Yeah, okay. Thank you. Good morning, all of you. Myself, Sarita Rathod. I'm going to present today the topic on the review of autism spectrum disorder assessment in pediatric neurodevelopment to identify the different biomarkers which is affecting to this ASD with Dr. Mansingh Rathod from KG Somaiya Institute of Engineering and Technology, Mumbai University, India. First of all, we have to know what is meant by exactly this ASD, and this review actually been giving details about it, what is ASD and what are the different biomarkers of it. The main goal is to understand the importance of identifying the biomarkers of it. First of all, what is ASD? ASD is exactly, we can say it is a neurodevelopment disorder, which is a kind of serious issue for the people of different ages. Day by day, it is happening from the small kid to the even with the adult people also, and it is affecting to the brain functioning, which gives us different challenges in social, cognitive, emotional abilities of the people. Different in different ages of the human being, it affects to the brain development of it. The estimated prevalence of autism, according to the study of 2021 in Indian Journal of Pediatrics, it is given as it is 1:68 ratio. It is from the Indian Journal of Pediatrics, whereas in that it is given the ratio of boys to girl as 3:1. And as per the CDC, even in the US also, the ratio is 1:36 has been given, and this prevalence of autism in India as well as out of the India also, it giving us the challenge to early detection of it has to be there, so that we will work on that particular spectrum. The early signs and symptoms, like it has been normally appearing, if it is able to identify then it will be appearing in 18 to 36 months of the life of the children, and it works, or it mainly affects on the behavioral social abnormalities that can be find out as a big issue for it. the symptoms that like different kind of symptoms, we have limited eye contact, delayed speech, behavior issues, then sensitivity issues. These all will be there. Now, as per the different studies, still we are not been having over here the exact reason for this, that why it has been happening and how it has been happening. But still, somewhere it has been given some genetic or chromosomal disorders can be considered here as a part of it. But some risk factors which has been given as from the like birth weight, low birth weight, or sibling which is having the ASD. So from that one, if it is genetic, then it will be there. Then some medical history of the parents or some chromosomal disorders like Fragile X or tuberculosis. These are can be the reason for it, which has been come from the different studies. Challenges and need for it is like right now, whatever the situation is there, that we have to have through the clinical observation only, by evaluation of different specialists or some development pediatricians that will be work with this. But as there will be the limited kind of professionals which is available there, so that can be one challenge to get detection of it or diagnosis of it is not easily been happening. And as for the prevalence, we can say that the early and precise diagnosis is been very much required to get some decision on it or findings on it for precautionary measures, so that we can start with some therapies for all this. The different biomarkers which will be included in this as per the study that which I have been done, like different genetic biomarkers we have, neuroimaging findings we have, then behavioral indicators, eye gaze patterns, focal biomarkers, immune system biomarkers. These are some different biomarkers have been there, but as per the different papers which I have been gone through it, so mostly the people has been worked with this behavioral indicators. That is one of the thing. As per the observation, we will able to find out from the children that what kind of a or what is like a range of it, like it is a mild or it is moderate or it is severe level of it. And then after that we have neuroimaging, that is MRIs. In that MRIs we have functional MRI, structural MRI, or EEG, that is electrography, that are been there. Then genetic, it is again one of the very important biomarker for this, we can say, like genetic variations, mutations in chromosomal abnormalities or specific genes with RNA, DNA sequencing, that will be there. Then other than that, more also has been given like eye gaze patterns, that is eye tracking system. That is one biomarker has been studied in this section. Vocal biomarker, yes, speech delay, that is one of the symptom we can say for this, because the ASD kids are with verbal and non-verbal the kids, some kids with the verbal activities they have been having, some kids are completely non-verbal. So that is one kind of, we can say, as a biomarker for identifying this. And if we will able to work with this kind of biomarkers, then we will able to diagnose it very easily if we have been applying through some our technology of AI technology or ML or DL technology, that will be applied with this and able to identify if it has been genetic or which kind of a risk genes will be there, or in MRI sections or in the brain section, what kind of a section that has been able to affect or that has been able to identify here what is meant by exactly the ASD, and that kid has been going through ASD or not. Different data sets that has been utilized in this work, research work. There are different kind of a data sets, like for genetic we have different data set that has been provided, which is gen expression data by different websites which has been available, like BrainSparse, then Atlas, and then Safari we have. These are the different kind of a data sets that is available. Geo data sets that is been giving you the gen expressions, which has been having with different kind of a sequencing for the genetic work of it. And then we have one more very important kind of a data set which is available, and the people have been working with that, which is been known as a ABIDE, which is Autism Brain Imaging Data Exchange, where we will able to have all the phenotype data as well as with the imaging data, that is brain imaging data, that will be able to provide you with the functional MRI or structure MRI, and that will be very helpful for getting model trained for identifying this ASD disorder. Different survey which I have gone through it, like from the different papers and different publications which I have used for getting the papers, like Springer, MDPI, then IEEE transactions papers, the elsewhere, the Nature, NCBI. These are all the different publication sections from where I have been gone through the different papers, and I'll able to study about it and getting some research scope or some research objectives for this, which we can work on this identification and detection of ASD or classification of ASD if it has been there with the particular kid or not, right? So this is the analysis of survey, the number of papers which I have gone through it from the 2020 to till date 2024, and with different biomarkers like genomic biomarkers or neuroimaging or behavioral biomarkers. This is analysis of all the survey. Here, actually, I have gone through the number of papers, but here I have been given with some papers that is exactly been able to give me what kind of a data set those people has been used, and what are their parameters or results of it, and what are their technologies they have been used for it, so that we'll able to define the kind of our problem statement. So these are some different papers which I have been gone through it, and from that papers I'll able to find out with some research scope that will able to be helpful for all of us to work with this particular topic, that is lack of integration of multiple data sources. As I told you, there are number of biomarkers have been there. So we will able to, normally people has been done with one kind of a biomarker, like one with genetic they have been done, or with neuroimaging they have been done, or with behavioral they have been done. If it has been there, that combination of something more of it, like some behavioral issues plus some neuroimaging data, that kind of a integration of multiple data sources has not yet been done. And
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, 9 minutes
yes.
are over. Can you please wrap up?
Yes, ma'am. So these are basically different kind of research scope which I'll able to find out here. And once you work with the genetic data, then risk genes, what kind of the risk genes that will be available with this, we'll able to find out. So the conclusion and future scope, I can say that is timely identification of the ASD biomarkers has been essential, very much essential of it to take the decision of it. Then the review of highlights which the potential biomarkers in improving the ASD diagnostic, which gives us the integrated different data models with ensemble learning, which can improve the data diagnosis of it. And the future research must focus on the scalable diagnostic models, integrating the behavioral and biological biomarkers. And these are the references for the study which we have been got. Thank you.
Any questions? Okay. So moving on next, I'd like to call Mr.
Thank you, ma'am.
Gabriel for the paper titled The Impact of SAP ERP to the Efficiency of Financial Reporting and Accounting Information Systems. Sir, could you please start with your presentation?
Okay, I'm sharing my screen.
Yeah.
Okay, so greetings everybody. My name is Gabriel Evan, and today I'll be presenting my paper with the title The Impact of SAP ERP to the Efficiency of Financial Reporting and Accounting Information Systems. Okay, so before we go any further, we will be talking about the overview of this presentation, which will be introduction and abstract, methodology, findings and results, and the final part will be the conclusion. So first, I'd like to introduce myself and a little bit about the article itself. So my name is Gabriel Fan, and I'm a final year student at BINUS University. And during this article, I was supervised by two of my lecturers, also associated with BINUS University. And in this article, we'll be talking about the impact of SAP ERP to the efficiency of financial reporting and information systems. We'll be talking about the positive and also the negative impact. The result of this journal will highlight the impact of SAP, giving consideration to companies that consider to use SAP also to maintain their systems. And in this article, we'll be using the Prisma methodology, which eventually will include 50 journals. And we'll talk about that in this segment. So these are the steps taken for our methodology. So the first step is the source identification. So in this identification, we research multiple institutions in order to acquire a sample journals. The institutions were like Elsevier, and then maybe Taylor and Francis, and many others. To ensure that we have a relevant study, we input keywords such as SAP, ERP, accounting information system, and financial reporting. In these particular steps, the journal, the inclusion was 1,000 journals. And in the next step, which is screening resource, we done so by examining articles to ensure the relevancy to our topic. We do so by examining their titles and abstract. And in the third step is eligibility checking. This is determined by the relevance of its findings. So in these steps, we determine the articles even further. So it's a full text review. And in this step also, we made a extraction form, which consists of the titles and its findings. And the final step is the data extraction. The data extraction was conducted in a structured manner using the Prisma guideline. And from the data gathered, we try and find the occurring pattern. So we find the most occurrence pattern, and then we use it as our findings and result. So on to the most important part of this presentation, which is the findings and result. This is the table version. So we'll go through it one by one. The first one is enhanced decision making, which is a positive impact. So in our research, 21 studies stated that the implementation of SAP allows companies to make swift decision making through real-time data visibilities. The tools provided by SAP allows companies to analyze a large amount of data in real time, giving access to a rapid and a more informed decision. And the second one, which is also a positive impact, is real-time various data visibility. 17 studies showed real-time data visibility as one of a major strengths of SAP implementation. This capability grants significant advantages to companies needing immediate business insight. And the third one, which is still also a positive impact, is a more efficient financial process. In our research, 15 studies emphasize SAP's ability to provide a more efficient financial process by streamlining the process and reducing manual intervention. This implementation allowed for a more seamless data flow, improving accuracy and financial reporting. And the last of positive impact is the scalability. 9 studies underline the scalability of SAP that makes it suitable for various business. So what it means is various companies from maybe smaller and medium enterprises can use SAP, as maybe you can, if a company only needs the financial module, then you can only subscribe to finance module, etc., etc., etc. And then we move on to the negative impact, which the first one is usability issues. And in our research, 16 studies highlight usability issues due to the complexity of SAP. This pattern occurs usually to the companies where the legacy system is long implemented. So it will be difficult for new users to use SAP. And SAP itself is pretty complicated. So yeah, it may be a problem for several companies. And the next one is high implementation costs. For this negative impact, 9 studies discuss how implementation costs may be a barrier for small and medium enterprises. So this occur because it's connected to the first issue, which is the usability issues, where companies need to conduct many trainings or even hire third parties to implement SAP. And the last one is integration issue. So in our research, 18 studies identify integration as a major challenge of SAP implementation. The issue came from integrating the old system to SAP. So it might be difficult to process so many data that a company already have to SAP. So the next one, we have other findings, which are findings that are not found frequently in our research. Then the first one is better insights to customer behavior and demands. This will eventually result to a more accurate planning and inventory management. The second one is thorough tracking of income and expenses. That leads to a more accurate budgeting. And the last one is simplifying data collection from various business units. So finally, we've reached the conclusion. So for the conclusion of this article, SAP has various big advantages for companies, but on the other hand, it also provides many potential disadvantages for companies. So in implementing SAP, a company need to look at themselves and determine their business goals, whether SAP can be fruitful to them or not. So it comes back to each companies to implement SAP. Okay, so that's all for me. And for future inquiries and questions, you can contact me from the on-screen email. Thank you.
Yeah, can you answer that? What you would think that will be the most critical factors for the business that should consider before implementing this SAP ERP?
So for me, the most crucial part is the budgeting part because, like I said, for implementation, it needs a lot of money, and I think companies should consider the budget because the cost is a lot, yeah, and it came from many various factors like training and then hiring third party. So yeah, I think budgeting is one of the concern that should be taken into consideration. Yeah, I think that's it. Say.
Okay, and if you are saying that you identified this SAP implementation as a challenge, so what future research direction you would suggest or recommend to better understand and address whatever the barriers you have said?
So I think the future research should give a better insight on how smaller and medium enterprises overcome the challenges that we have stated here. So yeah, that smaller and medium enterprises can maybe try using SAP because I have I have previous experience using SAP, and I think it's pretty beneficial for companies.
Okay, thank you. That's it from my side.
Okay, thank you for the question.
Thank you for your presentation, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. Moving on next, I'd like to call Subha ma'am for the paper titled Sensible and Assistive Application for Specially Abled Children. Ma'am, can you please start with your presentation?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, all. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, all. This is Dr. S. Subha from Rajalakshmi Institute of Technology, Chennai, India. And my co-authors are Dr. T. Nitya, Mr. Sachin, Mr. Srinivasan, and Mr. Sai Vignesh, and they are all connected online now. Our paper title is Sensible, an assistive application for specially abled children. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
So, Sensible is a mobile app we have developed to support children with disabilities such as blindness, deafness, autism, and some learning difficulties. This app will provide a safe and engaging digital environment by giving some interactive modules, speech therapy, music therapy, and parental controls. So with this accessibility, people can easily communicate with the others, with their surroundings, and with their neighbors, friends, and everyone. And this will be a user-friendly app for children with diverse abilities. This app is mainly aimed for children with age group of 2 to 10. And it offers interactive stories, educational games, and personalized learning. Apart from that, it will also give some medication reminders and music therapy. What is the need for this innovation means nowadays people with especially children with disabilities face many significant barriers in learning and communicating, and due to lack of accessible and inclusive tools. So we have a plan to develop a simple app that is user friendly and that will cater to the specification of all the needs of the blind, deaf, and autism children. But nowadays, most of the existing systems are not that much user friendly. Though it is user friendly, we need to pay more. So we plan to offer it in a free manner. These are the goals of the Sensible. That is, the objectives of our Sensible app is to promote inclusivity, to integrate the assistive technology, and to give foster independent learning, to enhance the emotional well-being, and to connect with the people. We have developed different modules such as learning modules, educational games, story modules, medication reminders, therapy, speech met, and parental controls. All are developed as separate tab. So in learning module, we can make some simple learning in a different age group. For example, Apple means that picture will be there. They have to click that one and they will be given correct one like that. In educational games, we are testing some simple games to enhance their brain activities and also to improve their mathematical skills. In story modules, we have started with bilingual moral stories along with the sign language also. So we have initially started with English and Tamil stories, and along with that we started including the sign languages. And with respect to medication reminders, we will give alerts for the children when they have to take the tablet, and it will act as an alarm. So the reminders for medication. The next module is music therapy. Suppose if the child feels very upset or sad, means we can make use of this tab, music therapy. It will enhance music for emotional well-being. Then the speech met it is a text-to-speech tool. This is mainly for the children with speech impairment. So this module is especially developed for these people. The last one is the parental controls. It is an interactive dashboard, which is mainly to monitor the progress of the child. So when they are using, how long they are using, so parents can have that control. For that module is developed. And this is the architecture diagram of our Sensible app. Initially, user has to, this is a mobile app. So user has to first register. And these are the different modules that will be displayed: story module, music, game, speech, learn and medication module. So initially we have started with the front end, and in the back end we have used the Flutter. So we have connected all the things with the Flutter plugins, and the database Firebase is used. With respect to the implementation, as said earlier, we had divided into front end and back end with dedicated modules for stories, music, games, etc. And Firebase is the centralized data management which we have used. These are the different screenshots of our Sensible app. The first one is identification of the fruits. Like that, identification of colors, identification of vegetables. Like that, we can have different headings. Next, music. Playing which kind of music at what time, like that. So, music. Second one is the music. And third one, the storytelling. So they can listen to the children can listen to the story. And the fourth one is the medication, the reminder for taking tablet or syrup, like that. So we have tested these modules, and these are the sample screenshots. And the next one is these different modes which we have in Sensible app: auditory mode, visual mode, and the spectrum mode. Spectrum mode is for the autism children. We have conducted a small survey with the children having the diverse disabilities, and these are the results that we got under this app. So the parents and the educators also, they have shared their observation on the child's progress after testing this app over a week. We have tested with the deaf and dumb school and also another autism school. So we have received a positive feedback from both the parents and also the people who are running the home. These are the different testimonies. We have initially tested this app with Sri Sai Samarpan Autism School, which is located in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. That lady, she is showing that app to that autism child, and he is able to work with that app. So he felt very happy on that. And another one, we have made a testimony at Dr. MGR School of Deaf and Dumb, which are located in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. And these are our students who went there and to test our mobile app. This person, Murugan from the school, he has helped to support the sign language interpretation for the story model which are developed. And this is the sample testimony. So this is a mobile app we have developed initially to help the children of age group 2 to 10. And in future, we plan to upload it in the App Store so that everyone can access it. And also we plan to make some voiceover to convey the needs of the autistic children. What are the different needs? So how they can record it. These are all the future things we. So at the conclusion level, our app Sensible provides, it acts as a technology and it will act as a powerful enabler for the specially abled children. It will make them to learn and also to communicate and to grow with more confidence. So 3 things are very important in this app: easy accessibility, interactivity, and the personalization. And in this digital world, this app will surely give helping hands to the especially abled children.
Excuse me, ma'am. Sorry to interrupt, but 9 minutes are over.
Yes,
Can you
ma'am.
please wrap?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. If any questions, we'll answer.
Hello, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, very nice presentation. I just want to say that how do you plan to expand this reach of your app to
Yes,
ensure
ma'am.
it is accessible to the children in different regions or with different types of disabilities?
Yes, ma'am. As I told earlier, initially we started with that bilingual conversation only, English and Tamil. slowly we will enhance with other languages like Malayalam, the most commonly used languages in India, and also in future we'll try with the foreign languages, ma'am.
Okay, and what feedback you have received from users like children's parents or educators
Yes, ma'am.
regarding the
In that,
effectiveness of this
yes,
app?
they felt very happy with especially that music module, ma'am. So they enjoyed that music module. So we plan to add some more interesting music part in that music module, and also in the parental side that medication reminders that they felt interesting, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Nice presentation.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for the presentation, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. Moving on next, I'd like to call Mr. Deepak Mahajan for the paper titled Unix-Inspired Digital Twin Framework for IoT Network.
Yes,
So can you
good
please start
morning.
with the presentation?
Yes, good morning, one and all. Let me share the screen. I hope it is visible to all. Is it? My screen is visible?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Thank you. Yes, so my paper title is Unix-Inspired Digital Twin Framework for IoT Network. I'm Deepak Mahajan, and I'm working as an assistant professor at DKT and also a research scholar at SRM Chennai. Along with me, Dr. A. Jayasekar, who is working as a supervisor for me in my research work. Let me start with the problem statement itself. We know that the IoT is the growth of IoT is like uh, anything. So great power comes with a great responsibility. We know that upcoming days will be IoT days and huge number of devices will be connected. And number of issues are there related to IoT, like privacy of data, security, scalability, interoperability, and reliability. Each of these areas having different scope for research and all. So different researchers are working in different areas, but all together we need to address all these issues when we want to take advantages of IoT. So I started working on this project means research, and what I found is, uh, sorry, my slides are not moving. Uh, just a minute. Yes. So uh, the motivation when I went through various literature papers, what I found is there is a scope for lots of areas. Limited computing capacity of IoT devices thrives to need of efficient design. Complex communication environment is challenging for scalability. Sustaining the data privacy is really test for security protocols. Work is required to design protocols considering heterogeneity of the devices. And as a conclusion, I can say that as a objective of this research work is to design a framework for IoT network to deal with interoperability, scalability, and security issues. So what I found is many papers are there related to this digital twin technology, which is like now led and proposed by IETF, and they have proposed the frameworks for this digital twin. And based on this IETF model, various options are available in the market. So there are some private players like Microsoft and Siemens and all. They are coming with their own products. But I have considered only open source uh, platforms which are provided. And you can see here summary of this. Uh, Let me resume this. I Okay, so what I have done is I've gone through Apache IoT DB, Eclipse D2, Fireware, and Ka IoT. I have studied all these and found out some interesting results out of it. And still, during this study, I was thinking that giving the solution for all such problems need not be necessarily complicated, or if you go through every technology, they have a number of technical things involved with that. And I was searching for a simple solution. And in between, what I found is uh, Unix, which is already solved these kind of problems, means interoperability, scalability, all these issues were already can say addressed by Unix itself. So this interesting study, what I found is this. First thing I did is, can I do the isomorphic mapping between these two uh, things, IoT architecture and Unix? And I found it very interesting. As you can see here, the file system symmetry is already there, so we can do the mapping. And the architecture itself, if we consider, I have just modified little bit concepts in this IoT architecture. I've just tried to map it with this Unix architecture, and I can found the resemblance in this. So this gave me an idea. Why not use the Unix itself, Unix like strategy itself to address all these issues? And so the motivation is everything is file concept of Unix. So even though we are having heterogeneous devices, like some devices may be with the high power, some devices may be with the low power or medium power, all can be represented as a generalized node in the digital twin platform. So this was the basic idea. And with this idea, uh, I found that where can I put it? Can I address this in industrial IoT as well as consumer IoT? And I found this space as well where I can put it. So you can see here the industrial IoT stack. Nowadays, they are going through hardware controllers, SCADA, MES, ERP, cloud, and then applications. And the new concept is arising, that is unified namespace in the world of industrial IoT. As well as in consumer IoT, we can say hardware abstraction layers are being added by many researchers. So I found that this is the place where I can put my our framework as well. So this framework consisting of three main modules. One is a digital twin creator, second one is a node subsystem, and third one is AI assisted control system. So one by one, we started developing the model. So this is the proposed framework out of that digital twin creator module. Here you can see that the legacy devices which are not capable to directly connect to the internet can go through gateways, and then they can make use of HTTPS protocol, and the advanced devices can directly uh, communicate with our module with the help of MQTT. Uh, Once the device registration is done, this device will be converted to generalized form, that is a node. So it may be any heterogeneous device will be treated uniformly as a node, and this will be implemented as a part of cloud. Uh, yes, and after this, we have a node subsystem, just like file subsystem in Unix. We can develop this node subsystem, which will deal with node management, node communication, and the trusted group management. Now, this is very interesting part of out of this. So when we form the group of devices, and we say that these are the trusted devices, in our proposed work, we are calling this particular terminology as a family. And we know that family is known for trust, bounding, and support to each other. So similar concepts are mapped here. So one we will choose as a family head. So one with the strongest capabilities. Here we are considering the capacity of computing, capacity of battery life, and all. So this is a family structure that we are going to consider as a main part, as a part of node subsystem itself. Then in within this family, the communication is very secure. And outside of the family, if you want to do the communication, then again, the trust will come into existence. So dynamic trust management we are doing. And what we are doing here is, again, this is the concept from Unix itself. So
Excuse
like
me, sir.
relative, yeah, yeah.
Around 9 minutes
Uh,
are over. Can you please wrap up?
yeah. Yes. So sorry for that, taking your much time. Just I will say that three different modules are there. AI assisted control system is also there, and this is the mathematical implementation, mathematical model for our system. So node family management, and then we have trust management, entirely proven theoretically, and we tested it on a simulations. So what we found is the results are promising, and we can actually go for uh, empirical uh, you can say implementations. And yes, we are focusing as a future work, empirical validation through large scale developments, optimization of AI, and dynamic protocol selection with trust levels. So this is the work. I know that I can't explain it thoroughly due to the time constraints, but that's it. So if you have any questions, yes.
No questions from my side.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for the presentation,
Thank you.
sir. Now we'll
Thank you.
move on to the last presentation. I'd like to call Miss Emilia Pop for the paper titled Students' Expectations and Challenges in Databases and Web Programming. Ma'am, could you please start your presentation?
Yes. So, hello to everyone. Good morning. Thank you for having me here. My paper it's about the students' expectations and the challenges in databases and in web programming. It's a practical paper. Actually, these are the subjects that I'm teaching. And corresponding to them, we thought about making an analysis and see the students' point of view for finding out their expectations, their challenges, and also to be able to improve for future our lectures, courses, our lectures, seminars, and labs. So this is the structure of the paper. We try to answer to the mentioned questions related to the students' expectations, to their enjoyable aspects, and also to the challenging aspects that they have found. Databases, it's a subject that nowadays it's very important. Is giving us the possibility of storing the information, of retrieving the information, and use it practically manages as better as we can. Also, the databases are used very often in the idea of creating web applications that are very practical and also very useful for us. So related to the study that we have performed, we proposed to the students a survey anonymous that actually let them the possibility of participating if they wanted to, but we encourage them to do this to be able for future to have their points of view. And actually, the survey was proposed in the end of the university year 2023-2024 for when the two subjects were actually closing. The subjects considered by us actually were the ones that referred to the databases. This was presented in the first semester. Then to the database management systems. This was continuing the idea of the databases with the practical applications in which the databases were used, and also to the optimization of the queries that were provided in the databases. And the other subject, the web programming, was actually presented in the second semester when already the students were prepared to integrate the database when create web pages, even if in the beginning they started with simple HTML, CSS, JavaScript elements. So our participants were the students enrolled in the computer science specializations in the English and Romanian lines of study. A total number of participants of 175 students were proposed the survey, and 84% of them answered to our questions. Due to the fact that the percentages of the students enrolled and the faculties and the ones that have answered to our questionnaire was quite close, we could conclude that the survey was relevant for our research. Finally, the result of the discussions, we took these two research questions related to which were their expectations, which were the enjoyable aspect, and which were the challenges. First, we have given for each of these subjects, databases on one side and web programming. We gave general students ideas, and then we did comparison between the gender and then between the line of studies. Okay, I think that the table is the most easy to understand here. For the databases and database management systems, the students considered integrating the database in application, the transaction and the SQL language the most important aspects, and the less important, the physical structure and the functionalities. Here you can see practically a comparison related to the genders. So the idea was that SQL language and general DB usage were have been seen by both of the gender in the same percentage of expectations. Okay, then for the English and Romanian line of study, more exactly, DB integrated into application was one of the most important expectation. And practically also, as final conclusion here, so we can say that the students enjoy their homeworks and also the concurrency control. Related to the web programming, the expectations were especially related to the JavaScript technology and to the backend. Comparations between the gender and the line of study, female concentrated in the same idea of improving JavaScript technology, while the men preferred, their expectations were more about the front end. That was very interesting actually for us. The English line of study preferred to improve JavaScript technology, while the Romanian line of study concentrated on the backend. And related to the covering of these expectations, a percentage of 85% of the students have answered to our question, giving us the feedback they have that their expectations have been fulfilled in a big percentage, so 85%. If we want to compare their expectations to these subjects, we can end with the idea that the database and the database management system on one side and web programming on the other side could be useful because databases integrated in application could be done with the help of the JavaScript. To answer to the second research question, which were the most enjoyable aspects, we find very interesting points of view from students related to the lectures, to the labs, to the applicability, but also related to the interaction. So these were the most important ones when we talk about databases. And you can see here a table in which the number of the answers provided. Female concentrated on lecture and seminar, and male on the generalized C# application with the help of the databases, and the English line of study concentrated on lectures, seminars, and interaction, while Romanian line of study on interaction and implementing a C# app. Related to the web programming, the most enjoyable aspects were related to the homeworks that they have to prepare, and also to the interaction during the labs and the lectures. And here you can find also
Excuse me, ma'am. Sorry to interrupt, but 10 minutes are over. Can you please wrap up?
Okay, I will. Thank you. Subject organization was also very important, and the ones mentioned here. Here you can find a comparison between these two. Female participants enjoy lecture seminar, while the male did not enjoy so much. And related to English and Romanian line of study, the interaction and the concurrency control was enjoyed. And for the web programming, subject organization was for the both genders, and for the English and Romanian line of study, different enjoyable aspects have been mentioned. Related to the last question, which were the most challenging aspects, actually the students found here the hardware part for the databases, and of course less challenging were the seminars from all point of views, for all the comparisons. And actually, for the web programming, more challenges were the lab errors and the warning that they received when they solved the problems. And also some comparisons, and not in the end, the last comparisons. Of course, we used what we call the treats to validity in performing a correct analysis, talking about the construct validity, internal validity, and external validity. Here are the conclusions related to all the 3 questions that we had provided, and some references that we have used. And thank you very much for your attention.
Nice presentation, ma'am. No questions from my side. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation, ma'am.
Thank you also.
I sincerely thank all our authors for their excellent presentations and contribution in this session, and all the participants for being a part of this international conference. I hope this session was informative enough. We, on behalf of the whole team, thank you for your support during this 9th version and all the previous 8 versions of this conference. We'll be happy to have you in the 10th version in 2026. All the presenters would be getting their digital certificates via mail within 2 working days. And further, all the papers have already been forwarded to the Springer. The publication would be live within six months. Kindly cooperate with the team of ICTIS 2025. I'd like to thank our session chair. Give me a second. I'd like to thank our session chair. This is a token of appreciation. This is a token of appreciation on behalf of the team ICTIS 2025 and Global Knowledge Research Foundation and partners. Thank you, ma'am and sir, for your valuable presence. So before we end the session, I kindly request you all to switch on your camera for a quick snapshot. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.
Thank you, ma'am.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Have a nice day too.